Johnson, and this is focused on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Boakai, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia.
My son died in the process. He died in the process. Nobody will come and will help him. Yeah. So you're not coming by again. You're not coming by again. We're qualified with it all. Come on, we know what I done. I don't get nobody in the market. I don't get nobody in the government. So say, if I go in the market,
supporters of CDC are booing our ministers in the CDC government. I tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, friends of Edith Weah, fellow citizens of our great country, members and officers of the great Congress for Democratic Change, after thorough consultations and assessments of the remaining candidates, we do hereby declare our unreserved support for the re-election bid of President George Manuel Weah of the Coalition for Democratic Change. We did not come to this decision overnight. We consulted with our supporters, my amazing husband and children, and well-wishers before coming to this conclusion. We critically looked at other prevailing variables before concluding that President Weah was a better choice in the pending runoff election. We hope that President Weah and his team would take our endorsement as a challenge to govern well when re-elected.
God-fearing people of Liberia, from Grand Cape Mountain County, Cape Mesurado, Cape Thomas, the Vice Standard Bearer, and officer members of the grassroots development movement, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I first must thank God for his grace and blessings. They say I'm a ghost. I am not. They say our party was set up to disrupt the electoral process. That is not true. They say we have endorsed a candidate. Not true. Because we have not thanked the Liberian people and the grassroots yet. They say that
I came and so forth. What's your message?
I have two messages. The first one is that Boakai should be like the Southeast. The Southeasterners actually showed that George Weah comes from the Southeast. From county to county. Regardless of the negative propaganda that went into the process, the Southeasterners realized that if George Weah remains their president, whatever plans and programs they have will be handled. And so they voted to give their support to their son. And I want Boakai to do the same thing. It's taking us 170 years to derive a vice president. And people should take their eyes off the fact that I'm sitting in the seat. It could be any son or any daughter of Boakai. What my appeal would be, let Boakai vote for his own. We may be looking at many things. I believe
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And I am Anthony Seed. Of course, this is Friday night debate here at Focus on Liberia, where we debate national issue. This time, our focus is on the presidential runoff between Joseph Boakai of the Unity Party and President George Weah of the CDC. The question is just simple. In the midst of endorsements, resources constrained on one side and resources maybe surplus on the other side, who stands the better chance to win the presidential runoff? We are aware that the Unity Party and the CDC had this very opportunity in 2017 when they met. The CDC would come on top. What gave the CDC victory that time? Are those things stay in place or have the variable changed? The Unity Party is now in the seat the CDC sat in. The CDC will win. Is that enough? So we are here to debate this presidential runoff, to look at all the variables and to be able to analyze the variables and give our people some understanding as to where this thing is going to go. The thing about politics is we can talk all the talk. At the end of the day, the people will decide. Something reminds me of Cummings. They were so hopeful. They said everything. And at the end of the day, they got reduced from 7% to 1.6%. So the people have the power, the people will decide. But I know one thing, money has influence in politics. People can move things. narrative can move things. The sentiments in the country can move things. All of these things, when we look at them, who is on the better side? We have our debaters all seated. Jimmy Eastman will co-captain this ship for me in Friday night debate. Jimmy is joining us from the nation's capital. Brother, how you doing?
Glad to be here, Anthony.
Thank you. Joining us here is Focus on Liberia political analyst, my dear comrade, Muhammad Shari. It's good to have you, brother. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony, for having me. Thank you.
All right. And Comrade Sharif, in one of our recent shows, endorsed Vice President Joseph Boakai, and so he has joined the rescue team. Will that team rescue Liberia? We will see. My good friend, Dr. Saki Golafale is here, who has also pledged his support for the presidential bid of Dr. Joseph Boakai, somebody will say. It's good to have you joining us from Atlanta. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm actually in the Maryland DMV area.
You move, or you just doing some work there?
It's been a year and a half since I moved, man.
All right. I'm not following things with you anymore. That's understandable. Yeah, we are all busy.
Welcome to the area.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to connect with Jimmy. He's in the nation's capital there. You are close by.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm a work area there.
Okay, that's good. He might be the youngest here, but he tends to be smart. Evan Morris joins us from the great state of Minnesota, and he is a sympathizer, you would say, of President George Weah. It's good to have you. Evan, how you doing?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
All right. We are expecting James Lassa, who will be joining us soon. And I don't know who else may be joining us. Folks, in cyberspace, the stage is set for Friday night debate, talking about the presidential runoff between Joseph Boakai and President George Weah. If you have just joining us, we want to say welcome to Friday night debate. We will open the phone line later on for you to participate in the debate. Gentlemen, let's get started. Let me give you something for us to start. The numbers. In the first round of the election, we had 20 candidates who contested. Of the 20, 19 went for the head of the CDC and President George Weah. They all fell short. Weah will come out on top with about 7,000 votes. The entire opposition bloc couldn't do it. Joseph Boakai came very close, neck to neck with him. Now that the others are out of the way, and Boakai is the one man standing against Weah, does he have the chance? Does he have the juice? Does he have the resources? Can he find the resources they probably could not find in 5 years? Can they put a structure in place that they could not put into place in 5 years, in 14 days to make this thing happen? Dennis would tell me, miracle works, Anthony. Well, let's get a debate started. I don't want to juice this thing up. Well, I see somebody joining us. He's from the Boakai's camp. So bear with me here. Let him get situated. He's a Boakai supporter. I like this guy. Aliyu Kamara, let me know when you are set so we can bring you in. Aliyu is set. My good friend, how you doing?
I'm good. Salute.
I know you couldn't miss the debate. I wish you could understand crew for me to speak some to you.
I have no idea.
All right. Well, so gentlemen, let's get started here quickly. Who's gonna win is the question I'm asking. If you look at the results, we are winning more votes in the midst of 20 candidates. Who's gonna win? Let's start with Evan Morris. If you look at the numbers, who's gonna win?
All right. So if you remember the last time I said Boakai was going to win, because I feel like the opposition would gravitate more towards him because of the rhetoric that they took prior to the elections. Now, you know, there's a funny saying on The Office, if you watch that show, they say how to turn tables. But the real saying is the table seems to be turning. And I think more influential political figures or political actors within the nation are gravitating more towards President Weah. But before I even say that, I want to juxtapose 2017 CDC in the opposition, the 2023 Unity Party in the opposition. Look, were we saying that CDC didn't have resources in the 2017 elections? Perhaps not to the level of Unity Party, but they had enough resources to run and win that election, to protect the vote, so to speak. So it shows competence from the leadership of the CDC in opposition compared to that with Unity Party now, who has been, a longer, let's say, an older party in our political landscape. So I think we need to just think about that for a second. Why is the Unity Party resource scarce when the CDC, where people say they're inept, they're incompetent, they don't know how to run anything, they were able to get it done. They were able to raise money and get it done. But overall, I think edge has, the pendulum has swung. And I think the slight edge is now with President Weah because I think some heavy hitters seems to be gravitating towards him that could put some dent into Boakai's, armor because these are people who know him very well and can spill some beans that may be damaging to him. I'll leave it there for now.
Well, let me go to the debaters here. Dr. Golafale, do you agree that the CDC did not, was able to find the resources it needed at the time in opposition, and they were able to pull it off? And then when you look at the Unity Party, I think he's making the point that CDC in opposition are able to find more money than even the Unity Party can find right now. Do you agree?
Well, I think that's a lazy argument. People right now. Let me first thank you for the invitation on this show. The issue right now is not about who has money and who doesn't have money. That doesn't solve the bread and butter issues. What is at stake right now is trying to get this nightmare that Weah and his criminal gang out of leadership so that we can restore hope to Liberia. And the Liberian people, historically, they do know among the two parties which party have shown competence in leadership. That is evident of when United Party took power in 2005. They assumed took over a country that was completely broken. They apply seriousness to leadership in terms of working towards alleviating poverty and restoring our credit worthiness by working towards debt relief. Those are things that had direct impact on alleviating poverty and also giving assurance to creditors so that they can look at Liberia as a serious country. Ellen and Joe Boakai leadership put Liberia on the map as a very serious country that was ready to engage in business. We opened an environment to business institutions, home and abroad. People came to Liberia, respected people. Uh, Fast forward to 2018, and when the government was turned over to George Weah and his group of people, they thought that it was for eternity. They took the country for granted. They have pretty much destroyed all of our social structures. Our integrity institutions are in ruin. And that is what Unity Party wants to come back and restore hope and rescue the country from this group of criminal gang that did do not seem to understand what leadership is, what to take the country from another level to another, greater heights. But instead of personal gains and corruption, George Weah spent a lot of time dancing and singing. That kind of irresponsible leadership for a country like Liberia. We want to get, restore the country back to the right and, proper order, restore our national systems of order. I think that's the argument which should be the bread and butter issues, not about who has money, who doesn't have money. And one thing I'll tell you, the evidence out there that money or no money, George Weah can be defeated. We expressed that was expressed in 2019 and 2020 when they used cash to influence votes against Darius Dillon for the first time. The opposition won Montserrato, and it rolled over to this election for the first time in the last 18 years. Unity Party won Montserrato from CDC. So that is an evidence that cash is not the issue. The people are the issue. Their concerns, the burning issues are the issue. It's not about who has cash or not, regardless of what they have. These elections, this runoff, Joe Boakai is going to win this face down, and we're going to restore the country back to its normal order.
Dr. Golafale,
I agree, and I've said similar thing you just said that money will not win election all the time. What is also true is that money has won a lot of elections. This election is one case in point where money has been proven to give many candidates victory. The obvious reason Nathaniel Magay won will be money. Bay 12 will be money. What's his name? Tom Fowler in Lofa County in Foya will be money, I would think.
Joe Barker
Also,
won my GB
Sir Joseph,
just by that.
hold on. Sir Joseph in Monserrato County against a unity party that had a very good momentum going into the election. CDC Sir Joseph will win. I think that will be money. We can say that about Francisco Fa in Grand Cruz County, Abbott Cheed in Grand Cruz County will maintain his Senate seat. I can go on and on. While it is true that money, others have had it, they won't win. Others will have money to win. It seems that this election, money is making a difference because CDC had the money. CDC won 25 representative seats over the Unity Party. That's a 15 seats different. And then when you count on the Senate side, CDC won 6 seats, Unity Party won 1. That's a 5 seats different. So money is proving that things are going well for those who have the money. So your
And
take.
please acknowledge that there's a difference between the senators winning versus George Weah winning. Monserrato was won by Joe Boakai. Sir Joseph won it, but he didn't win. Margibi, they spent all their money, millions of dollars. Joe Boakai won it. He didn't win it. So let's try to distinguish that in terms of representative winning,
Mr. C, if you will permit me, if I
versus.
can ask the doctor a question, please.
All
Just
right,
one
go ahead.
question.
Go
Okay, and
ahead.
before I ask my question quickly, let me just say for historical reasons, ruling parties have never won Montserrat. That's a little tidbit for history for the doctor. But quick question to you, Doc. In the 12 years of the Unity Party government, how many people were prosecuted for corruption in their government? Please, thank you. That's my question.
You want me to answer him?
Yes, please go ahead.
Well, I think what a man should be talking about is in the last 5 years or 6 years, what has the CDC done to fight corruption? All of the anti-graft institutions that the Unity Party led government, established, they supported. CDC came and started to break all of those institutions. They ran after our judiciary system. They tried to hijack it. Example is the Akaras Gray led cabinet Jana issue, which they had no proof, nothing after that. Their intention was just to influence the judiciary system. We've seen murders without any account. Auditors have died. You know what? So when you're talking about corruption issue, you should first tell us what has CDC done in the last 5 to 6 years to tackle corruption. Then you
You had
have
12
the
years. You
credibility
never
to
prosecuted
ask
anybody
your
for corruption,
question.
and you're talking about CDC
Because we
5
had
years.
a
Okay.
broken country. We inherited a broken country that we had to restore. You can't just fight corruption in a country that is completely broken, where people normalize corruption for over 2 decades. You
Thank
take
you, Dr.
over, you have
Kalafari.
to restore the national systems of order. You can't just hold people accountable right away that, oh, you have to fight corruption right now. No.
Dr. Kalafari, thank you there. And Evers, I like the question you asked. When the CDC took over, because your case is that the Unity Party did not do well on fighting corruption, right? So CDC was entrusted with power to do that which the Unity Party failed to do. How did the CDC do with the fight against corruption? I'm saying the CDC fell flat. So let's leave it there. Let's go to another debater.
But may I interject 1 minute, Mr.
Go
Sia?
ahead, go ahead, Jimmy.
Dr. Golofale's point that of the removal of Kabina Jenner, the legislature and Senate was predominated by UP members at that time. They had more percentage of delegates in the legislature at that time. So why then they did not vote against the impeachment?
The legislature is guided by majority votes, and the
Mhm.
United Party was not in majority. That's a
The
fact.
opposition
Are you
was.
saying the CDC
No,
government was
opposition is not United Party. United Party opposition is composed of different parties. And
All right.
let's have the record straight that majority of the Senate was not United Party.
All right, gentlemen, let's leave it there. I think that was just an instance. He was just citing that. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let
Just put
come
the
to
record straight.
Comrade Sharif. We are talking about endorsements that we're hearing now, political deals making. We played a video earlier. Ide Gongo Weah, former superintendent of Nimba County. She's a household name in Nimba. Nimba is of Wolfsburg County, and she's saying she's going where we are. Similarly, the LPP endorses Jose Yman Boakai. These endorsements that we are seeing, and now forgetting about Besonga Fine, who netted 55,000 votes in Grand Bassa County, endorsed President Weah, he's all out. So if we look at these endorsements, how will these endorsements, sway the votes in one of the candidates' favor? I know Boakai has endorsement as well, I mentioned.
Yeah, so so basically, I wasn't circumspect in my prediction that the opposition, in this case, Joseph Boakai, in the lead up to the election, he had taken a small lead, an advantage over George Weah. George Weah, who has a massive, he's sitting over very large resources, stolen money the Liberian people are not benefiting from, resources that are being taken away from the Liberian people. So the fact that Joseph Boakai, who I thought or I believe, had a slight edge going into the election on October 10th, the fact that it's very, very competitive speaks to the fact that the Unity Party had to make a lot of grounds. They made a lot of grounds. And so the momentum really is with the Unity Party. That being said, as I said on the last show, Joseph Boakai needs to go out to other areas. He needs to fetch for votes like a fisherman. All right, so you need to go to the southeast. You can't let George Weah sweep the southeast the way he did with 80% of the vote. 80%. This is where in each, in a lot of the southeastern counties, this is the percentage of George Weah. That's very big, because if he continues to build those big margins, and you come to places like Lofa County where he is competitive, keep in mind, he's very competitive in Lofa County. And so who knows what could happen. So if he sweeps the Southeast the way he did, the opposition will not be doing itself any good for not letting Mr. Boakai go out there to appeal to the people, ask for their votes. I'm hearing that, from Alir and others, that he doesn't need to go to the Southeast because now Alir and others have condemned Southeasterners to people who just are one-sided. They are so biased. I don't buy this. This is really insulting to the people, the good people of the Southeast who make decisions. They are very diverse, so they know how to think. They know how to vote. You go to these people and ask for their vote. So that's my recommendation. You have to do that like tomorrow. Go out there in the Southeast. I can tell you, if he reduces George Weah's margin to under 60%, Boakai wins this thing with a very big margin. Right now, he has a small lead, and so I think that the prescription to extending that lead is going out there to the Southeast, get some Southeastern votes. Of course, they're in discussion with opposition leaders. You saw that the LPP has made their endorsement. Even though our friend Kelepo Gonglo is saying that his brother is not on board, which is very strange, because if he says his brother is is a man of the institution, so if your institution endorsed a candidate, you're supposed to be out there with it. So I will hope that Kelepo comes on here and clarify that statement. So with these endorsements will really mean something, I think, If these leaders who are endorsing, they can go out there to their people and call on their people. If you endorse Joseph Boakai, go out there and vote for him, campaign for him, be a surrogate somewhere in your neighborhood, in your county. So that is the way these endorsements are going to manifest into something. But you cannot give your endorsement and sit at home and issue a one-page release and say you've given your endorsement. That doesn't mean a whole lot to me. And to see that the LPP has endorsed, but the leader, the standard bearer of the LPP is not on board, that is very, very strange.
Thank you, Comrade Sharif. Let me welcome James Nalaza, my good friend. James, thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Fine, thank you, Sonny.
All right. Alio, my question to you is, which of these parties, the two now, CDC and the Unity Party, actually governance better, politically speaking? I mean, looking at those who are out of the race, who do you think is governing better politically?
Let me say I enjoyed Gola Fale expose. I think he was really getting to the point. I went to high school with one Gola Fale at Muslim Congress High School. It seems like this is the Gola Fale, I'm not sure. But it's been a long time.
Yes, this one is from town. He's from this one is from my Negro town, so don't claim him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't look for no friend here, my man.
Yeah, that's why he's smarter than you.
You are protected, Ali. You are protected. You are protected.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. You crew man, how can you protect a Gola Fale against me? That man my brother. Isn't the difference? Yeah. And we put some trouble less in there, so Mr. Ismail can leave the show. Anyway, look.
Go ahead, boy.
Look, when people talk about heavyweight endorsing judge, I'm coming to your question, Anthony. I'm sitting here listening, and I'm in my head going, okay, who are the heavyweights? What is a calculation that we put together to determine a heavyweight in this situation? Ide Gonglo were a heavyweight. Ide Gonglo ran 3 elections, never won one. A heavyweight.
I think she might have come second in all of them, isn't it?
I don't know if second is winning, but what I'm telling you is she has
That means
not
she
won.
gets some numbers that she's moving in a direction, isn't it?
Anthony,
Yes.
behave yourself.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just going.
Hey, one more is habitually influential in Nimba, man.
Go ahead, Ali, you are protected.
Yeah, this because started talking for a time, it was 6 months old. But anyway, look, let me tell you this. When you got Jeremiah Kahn, Prince Johnson, Jose Yuma Boakai, and now Taiwan Gonglo, what can make either way a heavyweight in the house? You think about that. And somebody saw a picture of this boy who nobody trusts, Henry Costa, with George Weah, and they claim this guy's a heavyweight. In this guy constituent, there are more than 50. In this guy constituent, there were more than 50,000 voters when he ran. He only got 6,000 votes. You think by conducting rallies and people come out as the same as going to campaign and run election? You think that's the same thing? So when people say I'm still looking for the heavyweight.
I didn't say heavyweight. I said influential. Influential.
But what a difference! I just use a different word. Made the same thing. Anyway, so I have not seen so far anyone who is reputable up to now in terms of Liberia politics compared to Taiwan Gonglo that have supported George Weah or that have endorsed George Weah.
Western God Finley, very reputable in Grand Bassa.
Let me tell you something. I don't want this to be a dialogue, but let me say this. Western God Finley endorsed Alice Cummings and campaigned for Alexander Cummings in Grand Bassa. How many votes did Alice Cummings get? You can't tell me. Only over 3,000 votes.
But so the point there is that Alice Cummings did not get the vote they had hoped with Western God's support. but Western got 55,000 votes, right?
But what I am telling
And
you,
CDC, let me give you the other piece. And CDC won.
Anthony,
Anthony.
Anthony.
So if Western is bringing his 55,000 votes, that's a significant increase.
Anthony, you're wasting my time. That's a faulty analogy. You think Bezalel get a 50,000 vote in 1,000 bucket? You're going to give the CDC? That's not how it works. What happened is
he obtained that number for himself.
Anthony, let me learn. You're distracting me because you're not making any solid point. If Bezalel got 50,000 vote or 50,000+ vote was entirely for Bezalel, he could determine where they go. How come they didn't go for Cummings? The voters will vote for a senator or representative.
The voters showed that they prefer Weah over Cummings, so we are not getting more vote in Boston. Now with Western God directing them in a direction majority of them wanted to go anyway.
Can I make my point, please? Well, can you guarantee
me your point with my follow-ups to juice this thing up, Aliu?
Can you guarantee me that there will be no interruption to the level?
Go ahead.
Because what you bring it in does not make any political sense at this point in time. Because we have a lot of scenarios to show you that what you're bringing in makes no sense. Look at District 7, for example, in the Nevada County. Musa Ability won District 7. Musa Ability support Ellis Cummings. Who was the presidential candidate that won District 7? So are you telling me now, since Joseph Boakai won District 7, and Musa Ability decides he's going to give him some... And Musa Ability decides he's going to go to CDC. So automatically, those voters who voted for Joe Boakai will decide now, say Musa going to what you might call it, that way everyone of them will go. That's a faulty analysis. But what I was trying to tell you is we have serious reasons why Joseph Boakai would win this election. And let me clarify.
In essence, you are saying this endorsement will amount to nothing?
I am telling you, what I am telling you is that you cannot count on somebody's individual support in a given county to thinking that the voting population will follow that candidate wherever they go. Okay. I don't want you to think.
But you want to Prince Johnson in Nima, so we couldn't count on that, right? In
Nima? I have not even been able to answer your question yet.
No, Mr. Kamara, you spoken too long. You got to pass the microphone.
Ever stop.
We have only one host. Okay. Now I want to answer your question because everything you bring in is a complete distraction because it doesn't hold water. You understand what I'm saying? Now, somebody said, Cherie said, I said that Joseph Boakai should not go to the Southeast. Let me tell you exactly what I said. Joseph Boakai going to the Southeast will not make any particular relevance. Okay? Nothing extra.
Why you are wrong, Aliu.
But let me make my point. Why again? Let me learn today. Joseph Boakai going to the Southeast will not make any particular relevance. And we have the historical facts to prove this. All right? Now, Taiwan Gwangro, all he cast for in the Southeast. In Grand Judah, for example, they gave only 200 votes. You understand me? All right. So what we're saying is protect the votes in the Southeast.
Make sure that talking about Joseph Boakai got 4,000 votes without.
Yeah, man. After what going on today?
If he shows up and makes the case to the people, they can increase that number.
Again, what we are saying to you, George Weah did not go to the Southeast except for once. The Unity Party went to the Southeast once. Yet George Weah will win 80%. Why? Why? No, I have not even answered your question because
you kept it more than 5 minutes, my friend.
That's why you kept pushing me off track. I didn't even answer the other question yet. We did not say that Joseph Boakai should not go to the Southeast. What we are saying is do not exhaust too many or too much of your resources in the Southeast because we know the outcome. We know the outcome 2005. We know the outcome 2011. We know the outcome 2017. There's history to go around here. Okay?
Thank you, Aliu. Let me come to James. James, for a candidate to win they have to come up with a strategy. The CDC is carrying on an all counties strategy. I will argue that it is helping them. Looking at the numbers, if you look at Bonn, you are from Bonn County, the numbers the CDC got, I think you are shocked. Maybe not, but I am actually shocked. So who is running an all counties campaign or having an all county strategy yet that might be beneficial compared to the other? You are muted, James.
Thank you, Ansoni. Let me first of all make a disclosure here that on the day I was here, the day before, the eve of the election, I had predicted that JMB will have won the election by between 53 and 56%. As we see, it didn't turn out to be the case, and I want to hold on to that. I think that prediction was close to accurate, especially given all of the midnight attacks against tallying centers and seizing ballot boxes and stuffing ballots, and no American polling firm will make any accurate prediction if we have all of such fraudulent activities going on. So I think, again, JMB is bound to win pretty much by between 53, 56%. I thought to make that disclosure. And it's good that Strong and my own former classmate, Sarah Bessler, and also her party and the CPP and the LANU, they are combining to go to do audit. This is very important because to build an institution, we need to go back and check and expose NEC for their complicity in what is a national fraud. Anyway, in terms of strategy, I have to agree with you, Sony, that CDC is doing well. Not quite surprisingly, they have the money. They have fear as well. So they are going about. I saw them working in Grand Gita and things. I think they might also be afraid that the fraud that went on might be easily exposed if they don't double their efforts there. Since UP is sending poll washers, if not, even if the VP wouldn't go there, just by sending poll washers there, I strongly believe that you didn't have any effective poll washing in the Southeast. So it allowed for ballot stuffing. That they have a whole lot of ballot boxes that were quarantined because you have more people voting than were registered. And the NEC didn't care; they just included that, although Kun raising and thing, So it's just amazing. But I think CDC is doing, its own course is doing what all it could do, except that it's going to fall short because they did a ballot stuffing. They got about 80%. If you combine just JMB and Weah numbers, it comes to anywhere between 90 or 88% to about 10 to 12%. That is
this ballot stuffing you're talking about. I don't know. You have the evidence to prove that?
Yeah, I have video. Of course, I have video. It's also mentioned in the UP's complaint to the NEC, formal complaint to the NEC.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. And the VP, Jeremiah Kuhn, he was in the office. He made reference to it. And the quarantine of those ballots. But the NEC is so much sold into CDC that they didn't care. They just took those boxes and what they did when they counted the ballots and it was more than the register of voters, they left the other ballots out and they just kept it 100% and dump it in. Nobody investigating, and I think I understand why UP is quiet so much on this thing because there are other players who might want confusion and bring an interim government. So the best thing you do is not to complain too much. It's just a scary situation we have in the country. That's how I see it. And the strategy, again, I agree with you, but I also think the UP is doing well since, let's say, CDC had just about amass all of the votes they had in the Southeast, you won't have much to lose there. If you send the poll watchers, that would be effective. I'm not saying the VP shouldn't go there, but if he goes there, that'll be fine. But not going there shouldn't be a critical concern, to be frank. If you can work in Nimba, work in Lofa and Bong, Magibi, that would be fine. I think the VP is on course, and all the endorsements to me are just a matter of pictures, postures, optics, money, and fear, because you have some actors in the country who are
James. If I may, to the point about this alleged fraud that you are mentioning, right?
Correct.
This is a unity party that actually wants to win. It appears to me, though, they didn't really put anything in place to prevent any of these things that they suspected, right? So should they share any blame here? Why these things happen?
I agree. I saw my friend Dylan went with blue plastic bags with apparently with ballots with tally sheets to show that he had it, and he came later on to vouch, but he has some plausible deniability there, and I understand. I personally, from what I think, my experience tells me that they didn't have any effective pool washing in the Southeast at all. Because as
the Southeast, James, I'm not cutting you. Not only the Southeast, I would think the entire nation, because the press conference you are referencing that Dillon spoke at, he said, we have all our tally sheets. Come to our data center, come to our war room, and we'll show you the numbers. We have already won this thing. He gave a parable that, oh, if you are a student, when your teacher finished marking the paper, they give you a paper, you pass, you know, you're only waiting for the principal to call those who passed. So he was saying they won the election, but it proved out to be a complete lie, right? Because they didn't have the numbers in the possession to show. If they had it, they would show it now.
Yeah, even though I don't have evidence, I have room to accept that that presentation wasn't quite accurate with the blue plastic bag. I think they had actual pool washing going on in the country. I just think the bulk of it was lacking in the Southeast. Other than that, they wouldn't have caught the incident in Kidman. And you can't blame UP. Is not responsible to conduct free and fair election. It's NEC. You had the chairman of Good Governance Commission leading armed men to attack a whole talent center, and it's going there and sees boxes. You know, here next chairman talking about whether that may be investigated. I mean, look, any patriotic Liberian should be afraid for that country, and you have to commend the UP for the level of maturity they are showing. It's really, yeah. To be frank, and I think they're doing well. Having endorsement from Gonglo is far more valuable than what I saw my dear sister doing out there. I'm so disappointed. I hope I had a way to go collect all my contributions.
But James, where is your disappointment coming from? I'm sure if Edie had endorsed Boakai, you won't be disappointed because
because I know her for long. I know her values. She either acting all of
so why are you not respecting her decision? What is this?
Because I don't know her to be somebody
a very smart woman. She has made a calculation. Why don't you respect that?
Because I know there is personal interest involved. Her brother just ran. She couldn't help her brother, and Nima, the brother lost. Some people react differently. Normally, Edith will not side with a president who presided over the murder of innocent auditors who will leave the country for 48 days to go watch his son playing soccer using the poor people's money. Edith wouldn't do that. No, I know her. She
was induced by some kind of influence, made promises to have come up with the endorsement.
Well, I know her. I don't want to go that far. I don't rule that out.
That's what you are saying, James.
No. I'm saying when I mean personal interest, her brother ran. I don't know whether she's angry or whatever it is. I wouldn't say that about Edith. No.
So her brother ran against Weah. If you look at her brother ran against Weah. He wanted to defeat Weah.
Correct, but there is history behind it.
Did not succeed defeating Weah, so you are saying the smart thing to do is to support the one you wanted your brother to defeat.
If she is angered by the defeat and by the way it happened, if Prince Johnson had not brought up Kun to run, he probably would have been in the second round. We all know that. So part of that is that it doesn't have to be money. Okay. I'm not saying money was not involved. I'm just saying from what I know her, I would not say that.
Okay. Thank you. Folks in cyberspace, as you are watching Focus on Liberia, this is our Friday night debate, and the debaters are debating runoff election 2023. Weah versus Joseph Heman Boakai, looking at endorsements, resources, all the measures put into place by the two sides who will win this thing. Jimmy, it's over to you for questioning.
Yeah, Mr. Lassa, I was listening to you intently, and you repeated something that has been circling around, and many people find that this is the general opinion of many people who support the UP, that if you're not supporting the UP, you are not patriotic. Now, what makes the UP supporters more patriotic than the CDC supporters? Now, the UP has been in government, and the people overwhelmingly voted to remove them from in government. They wanted a change. That what brought in President Weah. So now, why would you allude to the fact that if you don't vote for UP, you're unpatriotic? Are you trying to say all those people that
No,
elected
I
President
wouldn't.
Weah
I
are
wouldn't. No,
unpatriotic? That what you're trying to say?
no. I can't say that exactly, but certainly that is a fair statement to make. In many instances, I think it's fair to say that JMB has never been a president before. He has never been a president. Nobody knows what JMB his record would be whenever he becomes president. We know what a George Weah's presidency can be. It can preside over the murder of innocent people and do selective justice. When it comes to prosecuting his friends, he tells you we are one family in the whole country. We can be prosecuting one another. But if it is somebody he doesn't like the summon card, he takes into court. He can leave the country for the 8 days, go to his son, and he'll bring they will arrest corporates involved in kush drugs importation up to the tune of $100 million, and they will free the people, and the people will leave without accountability, and a little girl will be killed. They were accused her own mother of killing her, although they don't have evidence, and they will send the Solicitor General in the night at the Supreme Court to go pay money and bribe the jurors so they can lie on the Chief Justice. They have to be fined.
So you're attributing that to Weah, the Chief Justice?
Yeah, the administration of justice is a responsibility of the government, of course. And I'm trying to say any right thinking Liberian would not look at it too. And where in this world have you ever seen a vice president other than wanting to plan a coup? And when we have seen a vice president challenging his boss, the result have been bad. They either die or do other things. That's not what JMB is offered. We don't know what his record. Just the President Turbot was. There's a serious point. I mean, very
You just called JMB a coward. You couldn't stand up to a boss going
excuse me.
for his life.
Well, I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe you could also say President Turbot was a coward because he was VP for 19 years and he didn't like most of what Tubman used to do. You know what Tubman did? He went and built a place in Better Finance where I come from in my district. Instead of him being in a meeting, because let me just conclude, please. Instead of him pretending,
I want you to conclude with this, James. We are talking about two political institutions here that had an opportunity to lead our country. Unity Party, there was corruption. CDC, corruption. I don't see the difference. But you are of the view now that CDC is just that bad.
There is a huge difference.
Compared to the Unity Party. So supporting the Unity Party, anybody who goes with the Unity Party, that person is making a better decision compared to the CDC, when in fact they both are guilty of the excesses of governance.
Correct.
Can I come in?
Correct. He just asked me the question. If we talk about party level, it's easier to put it that way. We all know that even it can be fair. It can be a fair statement to be made that Unity Party was actually a dual institution where you had Ellen Johnson, Unity Party, and Boakai. We know Boakai wouldn't be president for Robert Sirleaf to be playing a role of prime minister in the country, just like how President Tubman was in the Truly Party. But at the first day he took over, he started reversing just about everything Tubman did. I believe Boakai is able to do that. That will show that he is a different leader as a leader of the party than being. You cannot equate JMB being a president of his own administration to being a VP and Ellen Johnson administration in which Robert Sirleaf playing the basic role of a prime minister. It's not fair to make that conclusion, and there's no basis for that.
All right, thank you, Dr. Golafale. Let's talk about the whole issue of endorsements. What I see is that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is not on Joseph Boakai's side as yet, or the Unity Party side as yet. That was the case in 2017, and the Unity Party will pay the price. Now, we also see the likes of Amara Khan and Gafwan, the Ellen boys, they're now on board. I have not seen any of them endorsing Joseph Imam Boakai. I'm talking about finance ministers of the Unity Party. Does that raise any concern for you when it comes to UP chances, because the winning players are not on board, I would think?
Well, I think I have a different view about that.
Okay.
Uh, the critical issues that face our people,
Mhm.
they are far more than endorsements.
Okay.
Yes, we'll welcome endorsements, but at this point, looking at the numbers from the first round,
Mhm.
we're very confident that well, the United Party is going to win at least 10% of the remaining 10% of the 12.6% that voted against both UP and CDC. I
Mhm.
mean, we went neck to neck, so that is evident that we have a better, position going into this runoff. The CDC is afraid, so they're using cash to buy endorsements. They're not buying the hearts of the people who voted against them. Going after endorsement doesn't solve the bread and butter issues for the people. And those people who voted against George Weah, uh, they 9 out of 10, I believe, I trust them. They're going to vote against him again. So, endorsement or no endorsement, of course, we will welcome endorsements from credible people, from people who believe that the CDC government is not in the interest of Liberian, but just in the interest of George Weah, singing, dancing, and flying private jets, going, spending 2 months away on taxpayers' money, and his ministers there continuously lying about county development fund that universities are open. Bombing County right now, the university is not open. The minister went to the Senate. He lied on an oath that they had disbursed money to the universities to open. So all of these things, a multiplicity of all the lies over the last 5 or 6 years, and people, the common people, the voters know about that. So they're going to vote against them. So the issue of endorsement, though we welcome endorsements, for people who believe in the values and the principles of the United Party and Joseph Boakai, and people who believe that we want to rescue this country from the hands of criminal gang who believe that drug trafficking is the order of the day, right? So that's what we're looking for. We're not just we can't put the endorsement over the people's interest, yeah, but we will welcome endorsements, but they do not, I don't think they will stand in the way of the voters going into the runoff.
All right. Thank you. Comrade Sharif, they have all made promises. I don't know what you think the voters will be looking at this time around. Will it be promises? Will it be who is more trusted? Will they be looking at the economic conditions in the country to decide who they vote for? But let me share some with you here. President Weah made a promise now that he will also be paying graduation fees. And sometimes we laugh at these things, right? And Manget did it, and Manget, you're paying school fee in every county. And he won, right? And we are saying, I will pay graduation fee after paying your school fees. The ordinary people might go for this. And Waka said, well, when I become president, no car will get stuck in the mud in 90 days. Talk to me, what the voters will be looking at this time. This time they have two persons to decide. You are muted.
Yeah, so keep in mind that there has been a lot of broken promises over several regimes. I mean, it didn't just start with George Weah. So this goes all the way back. I mean, you can go back, whatever, right? So a lot of broken promises. That's the reason why we're here. That's the reason why 100 and what, how many, 170 somehow
76, I was thinking.
right country, almost 200 years old country, has challenges, develop challenges with infrastructure and different things. There have been broken promises. So these are systemic issues. They are not going to be resolved by any of these two guys. I don't have any confidence that any of these two gentlemen are going to go in the next, if it's George Weah in his next 6 years, doing the thing that he didn't do in the last six. If it's Boakai going into his first term, with doing the things that he promised. There is no record, and I'm just going by record, there is no sufficient record of just, presidents coming in, just going, doing things that they promised to do. My friend James Lassa mentioned, President Tolbert briefly, who was a vice president. He took up the office, after his boss died. So he did a lot of things that was on his mind, things that he was thinking about. So he did those things. He didn't go out campaigning to the Liberian people. Of course, when he got the position, the records show that he went around the country and talked about higher heights for total involvement. So fast forward to what you're asking. So no, I don't have any confidence that these guys are going to do the thing that they're promising to do. But the other part of your question is very valid. That's what do these voters are looking at, and right now what they're looking at, where the momentum is driving the vote, is that they're tired with George Weah, who has presided over this country. Right now the country is a mess. Somebody talked about, the secret killings and what have you. George Weah has not been able to empower his Department of Justice to go after people who've committed crimes. And that is people understand that. People understand.
Commissary, I hate to interrupt, but what are you looking at that bringing you to this conclusion that the people are tired of George Weah? When I look at the results, we have got about 70,000 votes than Boakai. The CDC won 25 seats, 15 more than Unity Party in the House of Representatives. Then in the Senate, they won 6 seats. That's 5 more than the 1 seat the Unity Party won in the Senate. So what are you looking at?
I do understand that, and and again, these are valid questions. What I'm looking at is that you have Joseph Boakai, who time and time and again he was underwater. What was he known for? He was a joke, right? Politically circles. It was, this was, all the things he was saying was a joke. He wasn't taken seriously. George Weah himself was dancing in the lead up to the election instead of taking this mess seriously. George Weah was dancing around. He was, just dancing, not taking him seriously. So the Liberian people, the fact that Joseph Boakai, was able to get the popular vote in Montserrado, in Grand Cape Mount County, in Bomi County, and in surrounding counties, in the environs of Montserrado, that is a big deal, because now something is resonating with the Liberian people. So how is it that this old man, for lack of a better term that we always call him, how is it that he is now neck and neck, very neck and neck at that, with a big celebrity? Keep in mind, George Weah is a household name, not just in Liberia, but George Weah is a household name throughout Africa. One guy came to my office, several years ago. He was from Algeria. Him and his wife, I met them, and once we introduced ourselves, introduced each other, and he said, "Where are you from?" "You from Africa?" I said, "Yes, Liberia." And he said the first person the first name that came out of his mouth was George Weah. This is years ago, before Weah became president. So he told me that George Weah is a big deal, in Algeria. I've met people from other countries, who the first thing they talk about is George Weah when you mention Liberia. So this guy is a household name. Just keep that in mind. So not just in Liberia, but around Africa, if not across the world, for his talents on the soccer pitch. So how is it that Joseph Boakai, former Vice President Joseph Boakai, is able to be competitive neck and neck and almost taking the lead, where I predicted that he had a small lead going into the election, and again, I wasn't circumspect, and I'm not about to be circumspect. I know that he is going to win. Joseph Boakai is going to win the second round. I think that your question, this is a very good question, because the indicators that we are looking at, again, somebody say, don't talk about crowd sizes, but there are crowd sizes. People who talked on the ground, they're telling us there's real anger. In Bomi County, a friend, that I talked to, who said, George Weah went to Bombay the other day and he got booed. And I was arguing with him. I said, he's still popular. He can win there. He said, Muhammad, no, don't believe anything that you hear over there. So they're going to vote against him, and the result turned out to be that way. So what we're looking at now is anger in the streets of these major cities, towns and villages. When you look at the different things, the reports that are coming out. So the road to the southeast. I watched one of the the guys who traveled down there, and he interviewed this one woman, and the woman said, "Look, this man wants us to vote for him. He better fix this road. What is he doing? The road is not fixed. The southeastern part of Liberia is a muddy mess where George Weah comes from, and so you think these people are not angry? These people are. They understand. They know what they're doing. And so again, I go back to my point. If you go to the Southeast and promise these people good roads and good schools, they're going to vote for you. Are you going to win Grand Jita? You're not going to win Grand Jita. But what you're doing is you're eroding George Weah's big margin. You want to bring him down to under 60%. You don't want to get him to 80%, 90%. That's a recipe for a loss, UPP loss, because once he builds up that big southeastern lead, he can come up to Bone County and probably close in Bone County. He can go to Lofa County and be competitive, and all of a sudden it's a different ball game. And so this is what we're looking at. But just to recap, there are real anger, this real anger in the streets of the major cities, metropolis and different parts of Liberia, and it's going to manifest in the second round.
Thank you.
Let me ask Mr. Sheriff a question. I heard everything you just said, and how the George Weah administration has fallen short of expectations in roads and many other things that he might have promised. Well, my question to you is then, what guarantees do you have that VP Boakai will meet the promises he's given? Is there anything in his past history to show you that he has met the challenges, such as resuscitating a country like Liberia? Because what the UP did was under the Ellen administration, a very expertise in underdevelopment nations. She's been doing it for a while, so she knew the things she had to do. But now you're talking about VP Boakai. What proof do you have? What is the evidence do you have that he will be successful in delivering all these things you're looking forward to? What is the evidence?
Very good question. The first part of my answer to Anthony's question was that I don't believe that any of these gentlemen now that are left are going to do anything quite radically different that have not been done before. I have no confidence that Joseph Boakai is going to hit the ground running as soon as he gets in office to now make the southeastern roads pliable. You're talking about 4-lane highway and this and that and the other, the road to Lofa County and all these different counties. I have no confidence that that's going to happen. That being said, I think that there is a level of respectability that's going to come to the executive mansion with probably, with Joseph Boakai, not probably, but with Joseph Boakai, from people that have worked with him. There's a level of respectability. He respects institutions, so he's an institutional man. There was a time, maybe a tiny, just very tiny, something that I read about him, way back in time, that said that not this, but he was a director of the Liberia Produce Marketing Corporation. And there was a program called the PL 480 program, and under that program, PL 480, he was, from my research, he was very successful at that. And when he left, That whole place was just trash. All right, so that is very tanny. Maybe Leo and some of the guys that have known him for long, or maybe they can speak to some of those issues. I do think that I don't have any confidence that that any of them are going to do anything radically different.
So can I add in, Anthony? Can I add to
Yeah, go
what
ahead.
you just
No,
said? Yeah.
Mr. C, it's my time. I've been waiting.
Oh, all right. Dr. Godfather, please wait. And Evan Morris,
Hello?
here's my question to you. You are
Can you hear me?
supporting the side of the CDC President Weah. The issue now, we are talking about the CDC using money. You saw the video we played earlier. Seditians are at a party headquarters and they are calling their leaders raw. They are disenchanted, they don't trust them anymore, that they failed them. That's why the video showed, and the video is here, we play it. Do you think the CDC has done a good job to deserve a second term?
Well, first of all, let me say the video was not calling the CDC official roles. They were calling Henry Costa. If you listen to the video, they say Henry Costa is a role. He shouldn't be supporting the CDC. They were chatting against Henry Costa.
Okay.
Please, if you can play that video again, we listen carefully, you'll hear that.
Okay.
But secondly, let me say this. Seemingly responsible and educated people on this platform are making irresponsible statements. When Mr. Jim Lassa said that President Weah presided over the murders of the 4 auditors, can he say the same statement that Ellen Johnson presided over the murder of Harry Greaves?
I think you should retract such a statement, man. That's disrespectful.
No. It's not disrespectful, Mr. It's not disrespectful. It's not disrespectful.
Evidence is protected. Aliyu, hold your peace.
I want you to similarly educated people on this show and making irresponsible statements. This is a debate. No, where did he grow up? No. Debate doesn't mean he can disrespect people. Where did he grow up? You gotta respect people. You don't just talk to people anyhow.
And if you have your time, you can hold him accountable on that. Evans, you are
It's
protected.
a shame that you cannot hold him accountable. I'm ashamed of you.
I recognize that.
How can a man insult everybody on the show and you wouldn't say nothing just because he has the right to speak? Freedom of speech comes to responsibility.
Let a man speak. That's why you are here, to help me have the show. Go ahead, Evans.
If you can't take it back, I'll leave, man. You gotta take it back. You gotta take that statement back.
For your sake, Mr. Kamara, I take it back. I take it back. I don't want Mr. Kamara to go. I take it back. And that's why I knew it was going. And that's why I knew it was going, because I'm young. I shouldn't have a say. I should be like a small little rat amongst the elders and not say anything. Why do you feel like that? I'm a young man for sure. But why can't I speak freely?
Even if you're Methuselah, you still gotta respect
people. I felt disrespected. Myself, I'm a young man like you.
Evans, it's not about you being young. It's the fact that you insulted them intelligently. And that's why he's saying it, so he has a point. You want to take it back or not?
I'll take it back and I'll rephrase it. I'll take it back and I'll rephrase it.
Kindly rephrase to not insult any integrity of the gentleman on the
our educated and responsible panelists are making irresponsible statements. When he says that President Weah presided over the murder of the auditors, he has no evidence. When he sits here and said there was ballot stuffing and fraud is a legal conclusion. That's why you go to court to prove fraud. You can't make that conclusion just based on your simple analysis. It's a legal conclusion. That's irresponsible to make that statement on this platform. You're casting aspersions without any factor substantiated. You can't do that. If I'm here to respect you and hold you in high regards as an educated man, your utterances must be based on your education, and I will see it reflected in the utterances that you make. So when I make that statement, it's not to disrespect anybody. I'm not doubling down. I should speak freely. If I agree with your
cannot offend
point,
others,
I can rebuff it, and that's what I'm doing, Mr. Kamara. Please don't use my age. Don't use my age against me. Allow me to speak freely.
You are doubling down the insult. That's what I'm saying.
Another thing, Mr. Kamara, please. It's not insult. To disagree with somebody is not disrespect. Please don't confuse the two. Dr. Golafali earlier said, when I asked him the question about who were held responsible during Ellen Johnson 12 years for corruption, he completely skirted the question and started talking about George Weah, when in fact nobody was ever held responsible. On the 12 years of the Joseph Boakai and Ellen Johnson administration, nobody went to jail. Nobody went to court, were ever found guilty. But you will sit here and say George Weah and his gang of thugs, his gang of rogues, make all of these, these kind of talks against President Weah. And then when we push back in a harsh way, we're being disrespectful. Shouldn't be disrespectful to our elders. You don't think we support President Weah just the way you love and support, Vice President Boyka? When you say inciting things, you're gonna get the result of incitement. Look, Mr. CA, I think I will not even be hard on you, because when people are making statements, you should push back on them. These guys like to give people a false sense of security. Darius Dillon is the case in point. He came with blue plastic bag saying they got all the tally sheet, made everybody believe it was a sure thing that Joseph Parker was going to win. And he lied to the public. They didn't have any evidence. When the vote came out, they're quiet like Cheshire mouse. They're not saying anything. They're writing a letter. Why they can't go to the Supreme Court? Why they can't show the tally sheets that is contrary to the tally sheets that the next announced? These people have this sense of strong arm in this election by trying to browbeat people who disagree with them, by trying to intellectualize it. If you're not following it, you're a stupid sedition. Most of us we support this president. We're not stupid. We went to school. So when people come here and try to intellectualize it and make it seem like they're the only smart people and they're the only one that know the right things, and we that small in age or we that haven't had the experience that they've had, we should follow their lead. No way. This is America. If you talk to my mom, you talk to my dad, I've always been outspoken and I speak the truth. And I'm not afraid of anybody. I won't disrespect anybody, but I speak how I feel, my conviction, I speak it. So sorry for offending you, Mr. Kamara. I'll take that back, because we on the shows, on shows together. But I didn't mean it to be disrespectful. I wanted to speak tough and I wanted to speak frankly with the other panelists. But thank you, Mr. C. I'll pass it back to you.
Sonia, I think it's only fair you give me a little time to respond.
All right, Golafari, your time to Lassa.
Yeah.
Well, he mentioned me that I think Golafari should speak. Though mine is different because the fellow spoke just about directly to me and mentioned my name.
All right, go first.
I just want to respond. Okay. I think that Dr. Golafari should say. The thing is, Elvis, I don't know, you bear the same exact name of a guy that used to be in Europe. I don't know whether he's a father, but he used to be my peer. We used to work together in international matters. So just to let you know, and I felt good, seeing you. If you are his son, I want to say he's certainly a great guy. I would expect much more from you than that. We should be able to express our disagreement in a civil manner. It's not fair. I also don't think, when I say President Weah presided over the murder, I'm not saying he murdered them. He's the president. When you're president, you preside over an administration. And when you talk about fraud, I didn't say the net was guilty. I'm speaking of facts, because what I'm speaking of, there are evidences or pieces of evidence to support that. We've seen three political parties launch a formal complaint calling for forensic audit. You have to know that is the first time in the history of Liberia that is happening, and that is prompted by what is in no way a small crime committed during the election, when tallying centers are being attacked in the night, with CDC party chairman at the stadium, and Nathaniel McGill is at the stadium at the night, and the chairman of governance commission in Nima seizing ballot boxes. They had to hold re-election. This is nothing small. You can't say there's no evidence. That's not right. As a citizen, I have a right to speak to those issues. And in my right, I'm not a judge, so I can say they are guilty. I certainly can speak to the fact that, the election was fraudulent, brother. And let's not just try to make a point. I'm comfortable with that, okay? But I want to let you know that.
Let me put it back on. How did you come to the conclusion that it was fraudulent?
There was re-election held. That is against the election rules and regulation. The seized boxes, the European Commission. The EEC spoke to that, and the Election Commission conducted a re-election for that area, and we all saw it visibly with our own eyes. And there are complaints, legal complaints filed with both NEC and other places for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which is still inconclusive, though. This is what I'm trying to say.
Dr. Golafale, you go ahead.
Yeah, with all respect, my brother Elvis, he mentioned my name about a question he asked, and I mean I would have said he's not the host, but I respectfully answered his question. When one of the things that people need to realize, like a brother like Elvis need to realize, is when the Unity Party took over, the Liberia that was handed over to George Weah was not the Liberia that the Unity Party took over. All of our social structures were broken. Our financial institutions, our governance system. We had a bloated payroll. Everything was upside down. And when you inherit a country like that, how do you fight corruption through a judiciary system that is broken? And you had to put it together. So in the 12 years, unfortunately, we had Ebola that took things a lot back. But the first 6 years of Ellen and Joe Boakai, we saw a responsible leadership. We showed to the world that we were ready to rebuild our national systems of order. What did George Weah do when he came there? He went against the very law that established our extractive industries, the Leti. He went against the very law that established the leges, the statistical for census. He went against all of our laws that support fight against corruption and bad governance. You couldn't tell me, or everyone here, or your audience, what has George Weah done differently? Because he came on a popular mandate of change. You haven't said anything. You didn't even answer the question about what George Weah has done.
How did he go against those laws that you are talking about?
The Leti, the Liberia Institute of the Extractive Industries. Didn't you read the appointment of what was the guy name? If anyone can recall what he did, he appointed against the boards. I correct me if I'm wrong. I can't recall exactly what went wrong, what the whole issues were, but there was some violation of the Liberia extractive industry, right? And look at some of our anti-graft institutions like LACC, the public procurement, all of these concession agreements that are role agreement that's going on. They're against the PPC. There are reports that have come out that they're against the PPCC. And look at the kind of appointments he have in government. And
he dismantled.
Yes, he kind of
safeguards
that United Party built.
How can you dismantle something that was ineffective? Who did the LSCC bring for prosecution? Who did it bring for prosecution on the LA Georgia Salute?
When you are building institutions
for 12 years, you build institutions for 12 years and you don't prosecute one.
You don't even understand. You don't know. The judiciary system is completely broken. It has to be rebuilt. We don't have fast track court system. You think that to fight corruption in a country where corruption was normalized for over 2 decades, it just takes 12 years to do it. You have to build institutions. You have to empower these institutions. You have to train people. I was one of those who left the country to be trained, to go back to the University of Liberia, to upgrade it. You saw how the United Party decentralized education, right? You saw what we've done to community colleges in different. You cannot tell us what George Weah has done differently. But you're only talking about 12 years. They didn't do anything, as though they inherited a country that was sitting on gold plate. You inherited a better country than United Party. What did you do in the 6 years? You
Dr. Saki, they were handheld to recovery. The international community held their hands financially to recovery. Don't say it was just through the ingenuity. It wasn't. It was handheld.
It's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse for them not to prosecute all the corrupt people.
But may I ask something? May I ask, Doc? Hey, Doc, let me ask you a question. During Ellen's regime, and mind you, I have, even though I know these people personally, I didn't bother subscribing to their administration. But there were times when it was found that her son, two of her sons, were guilty of criminal mischief. One of them had duped a foreign businessman out of some money. The other one was involved with a no count. And do you know nothing came out of that?
Yeah, we agree.
Not a thing.
We agree. I
So
agree.
so we're back. This pattern of impunity has persisted, if anything.
Exactly. That's why Joe Boakai, as honest as he is, somebody who I know personally,
Correct.
I've worked with him, he came up and expressed the Liberians. And you know, that's one of the things people like Elvis would not agree about honesty. That when he said we squandered opportunities,
Correct.
that was a leader speaking of how honest he knows very well what the issues are. And he spoke his heart out. We squandered opportunities. And that's a fact. But they held it against him for being honest. Okay? And knowing that he's seen everything that has happened, he knows how to correct it. And I trust that person more than the guy who just dancing and singing around. He probably
Exactly.
knows nothing about
Exactly.
governance.
And
George Weah is an unserious guy who just think that the Liberian people is his retirement camp where he has played football, lavish his money. He
correct.
just want to come and
Compensate.
based on the sweat,
Compensate for that.
yes, compensate for.
Oh, correct.
People love him.
Well,
He doesn't.
don't.
He's not a serious person. We want
All right.
to move the country forward. And
And you
with
guys are
George
being
Weah,
very respectful to President Weah. You're showing respect to him. I appreciate your respect for the president. Thank you.
He's not a panelist on this show. He's a
yeah,
leader.
we
He's
can
a leader,
discuss
and the
George
leader must
Weah.
be subject to scrutiny.
Yes, he is our leader. He's living on our
Are you
tax
still trying to
dollars.
justify your action?
So I can
He's
call Joseph
accountable to
Boakai
me.
old. I can call
Yes,
him corrupt and
yeah,
incompetent. I can
yeah,
call him that.
yeah. You can.
I don't
You
know.
can.
It seems
If you
so. I
have,
don't know.
if you have,
Anthony, what is your next question there?
George Weah is incompetent. He is corrupt. He is completely clueless about governance. He knows nothing. Let's a typical example. Ask Elvis. George Weah, as a former footballer, when he took over the country, the FIFA ranking of Liberia was 138. Our winning rate was high in football matches. George Weah is president today. He left Liberia and went to the FIFA World Cup, and they were saying they were discussing sports diplomacy. Good things were coming to Liberia. They were all lies. Look at our football record today.
He went to
It's
see his
gone
country.
down the drain. Today,
George Weah took
FIFA
you to
ranking
two
is
African Cup of Nations.
150.
Since it's never
Okay.
been replicated.
Yes,
He
he
was a
president.
football.
What happened when he became president? What happened? Football went dead. He took
Thank
the
you, Dr.
country down.
Golafale.
The stadium got banned. Nothing good has happened in football.
He took
Tell
a
me what good has happened.
He took a Nigerian attempted to make him chairman for national election.
When the last time Brazil won a World Cup? Brazil was a great football nation. When the last time they won a World
We are
Cup?
not
Well,
discussing.
No, because you're trying to say your past glory, your past.
We are discussing George Weah, who was a footballer, and
We are
football has
discussing
gone
leadership.
down the drain completely under
Thank
his
you, Dr. Golafale.
eyes.
Mr. Aliu Kamara, it's your turn.
So, first of all, Anthony, you can hear me okay?
Yeah, very loud and clear.
It's apology time. Let me apologize for coming down on you the way I did. I sincerely apologize, my good friend. You know, I wouldn't get mad at you like that, but you kind of made me mad a little bit. But it was all my fault, okay? On this platform, Mr. Morris has come here and said that Joseph Boakai was frail on the same platform. He has come here and said Joseph Boakai mismanaged his money. He was irresponsible with his resources. They cannot entrust him with national government. He said that. As young as he may be, nobody insulted him. Because Joseph Boakai is in the spotlight. He's in the public view, or public glare. So people have the right to, these are permanent Liberians, where every Liberian is entitled to. You cannot lose your mind because someone speaks about George Weah. I mean, come on now. You know, and you're asking me not to use your age against you. You're using your age against yourself. For your apology accepted, I hope you stop doubling down so that we can move on. Okay? Listen, people say, oh, Ellen Johnson, the United Party, they're now going to president. But when Ellen took over, the first thing she did was to audit the Judy Bryan-led administration. Judy Bryan was put in handcuffs and sent to jail for corruption.
And died after that.
Yes. I believe that was one of the reasons why he died. Ellen did that. When Ellen took over in her government, she realized that it was important for her to set the record straight. She did not only set up these institutions, she hired a man named John Malou to come and audit her government. An audit report that she herself disagreed with, but to an extent, she thought it was being too amplified or over exaggerated. She would go and hire another firm. This is how serious she was. And those what she did with those audit reports, not like the Ministry of Finance now that the ministry can, one office can get burned. What she did with the audit report, she gave everything to the CDC administration. So if you ask the question, what did Ellen do about corruption? Who did she put in jail? Well,
and Aliu, the other reports are online on the CDC website for people to see and read.
They're all over the place. So if you're very passionate about CDC like this, you ask a question to the CDC. Okay, you say Eddie is corrupt. Eddie say, yes, I audited people. Here are their names, and here are the things that they possibly are involved in or involved with. You run the government. This is not George Weah government, Ellen government. This is Liberian government. What have you done about that? Absolutely nothing. So when people speak, they go back to Ellen. When people speak, they go back to Ellen. Remember, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration was run by Ellen. That's why it's called Ellen Johnson Sirleaf led administration. That wasn't Joseph Boakai at the led administration, in as much as they would divide everything, but it wasn't his administration. She called the final shot. But this is a man who was still in the pulpit and said, I told these guys that you cannot run a government just by doing PowerPoint presentation. Joseph Boakai said that loudly. He said all they did was PowerPoint presentation and fancy words. He said, I went to this cabinet meeting and told them, this is not how you run the government here. Said, but they wouldn't listen. And he said, every time they get up, they fly back to America. Joe Boakai is on record for making those statements. This is not a man that wants to continue the status quo. This is a man who is telling you in all different forms that he has seen the problem. He knows what the problem is, and he can solve this problem. This man knew what it meant, saw the problem under Barclay. He saw the problem under Tubman. He saw the problem under Talbot. He saw the problem under
We're back.
Yeah, but who took over from Tubman?
Barclay came before Tubman. Barclay came before Tubman.
Exactly. But that's what I said.
1944.
Well, yeah, you got a point there. that's exactly where you were
born. 150 years.
That's exactly when he was born. You got a point there. So he saw Tubman, 27 years. He saw Talbot. He saw Doe. He will see all the TLA, NTLAs. He will see Charles Taylor. And then he will work with Ellen as well. So he has seen it all. He's telling you he knows what the problem is. But my brother Ismail keeps talking about how Joseph Boakai ever shown anything. Amen. Joseph Boakai has never been president. In wherever Joseph Boakai has worked, in his capacity, is always performed. The great Dr. Amos C. Sawyer would tell you, he did tell you guys, that Joseph Boakai was a fine Liberian. But for some strange reason, nobody wanted to pay attention to the good things about it. Yeah, they ignored that. They said, oh, Amos Sawyer was just trying to lie about Joseph Boakai.
But didn't he remove him? Did not he remove him from position?
But he explained why.
He explained why. And it was
why.
Yeah. And he said it was nothing based upon the rumor or speculations going around. He said Joseph Boakai was innocent.
And that was the last public utterance of President.
Yeah. He had to confess.
Correct.
He said people must stop destroying the good name of this man. And let me just briefly say to my brother Sharif, he said he doesn't believe that somebody can come in right away and begin to perform. But at the same time, he alluded to the fact that Tobo came in right away and began to perform. I see a serious contradiction with that. The road to the southeast was pliable when I was growing up. And it was still dusty road. There was no quota there. How can somebody say it's not possible? It has been done before. When I lived in Margibi County, the Public Works Ministry in Margibi County had a branch there. They had their own yellow machine. Every rainy season, they graded the road. in Margaret County. Roads were pliable. These things were happening within 6 months period. Okay? So all of these things are possible. And we're talking about a man who lived it, who's experienced it, who knows it. Now, what we are doing now is we are comparing the two people now and choosing from one of them. One has performed as the CIC, the commander-in-chief himself, which is George Weah. He has performed. We have seen his performance. Are you telling me in all conscience, clear conscience, that you are satisfied with George Weah's performance, that he has given you some kind of assurance based on what he has done, that he can do more? I'll leave it to you.
You know, let me pose a question to you, Ali. A lot of people, just like yourself, will agree that Honorable VP Joseph Boakai has held several different positions, positions of authority and accountability, and that he, being that he has had the longevity and time and time again he was appointed to different positions, it kind of indicates that he has the ability to perform. But where people have the issue is, he is a man of advanced age, and we have heard issues of some health issues as well. A lot of people argue that he's going to gain the confidence of the Liberian people because of the things I just mentioned. And after we vote for him, he would turn the country over to somebody else. What do you say about that?
You know, I heard that argument until the young Hans Bashir died. Nothing was wrong with him. He was healthy. I heard the same argument. The ANC chairman went to India, came back dead. Joseph Boakai is still standing. You know, for me, I wouldn't go into that stuff. I would just go with what the Liberian people think. The Liberian people in Neighbor County know Joseph Boakai by name and by action. When he worked there and established LPNC branch there. The people in Bon County know Joseph Boakai. That's why he's been formidable in Bon County all through, because of the record he has had in Bon County.
But they rejected him in 2017 in both counties. Rejected him massively.
Excuse me. Under Joseph Boakai, he made Lofa County the bread basket of Liberia. In fact, under Joseph Boakai, the recipe called Pusawa that was issued by Firestone to its employees. It was banned from going to Lofa. So every rice eaten in Lofa under Joseph Boakai was produced in Lofa. And taken from a Lofian citizen as well. And that's what we're going by. Not by speculation, not by people assuming when he's going to die. We'll leave that to the great nature.
Here,
Sharif. Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I expect Aliyu to Aliyu is really, everything about Boakai is very it's a touchy subject for him. I'm glad he's not on the campaign trail. Another thing that I wanted to say is that Elvis made a statement. Look, I don't think we should be in the business of policing what others say. I've been one person on this show who has taken a lot of abuses. I've taken, I don't read these Facebook posts a lot, but when I read some of them, I mean, I've been called all kinds of names. I mean, even from Elvis himself. I've never asked him to apologize, and I'm never going to ask him to apologize, right? This is the game of politics. This is how it is. That's how it goes. So let's forget about all these ageism and
No. I know, Sherry.
I totally disagree with you, but that's
hold on. There should be a level of decency.
Hold on. You gotta respect others. Nobody will agree with you on that.
We're engaging. We're here engaging in criticizing.
You can accept disrespect, but other people cannot accept disrespect. They ask you a question. Go straight to the question.
Excuse me. We're here talking about what others are doing. So we ourselves should live these examples. So if someone says something about us, we can't, we can't also react in ways that, that's going to be coming. You're trying to leave the show. That's going to be coming. You stay on the show. Don't try to shut down and say, okay, you need to apologize, otherwise I leave. Then what are you doing? And if he left, I would have asked you, Anthony, not to bring him back. He's my brother. I would have asked you not to bring him back. But anyway, I digress. So what we're talking about here?
Look, Mohammed. Let me just say this. He said it rhetorically and came back. It was a statement to be made. We should have. For me, I don't even care about respect. It's standards. We can come here at this level, and we should be setting examples for those who live in the Western world. Cannot be on social media screen and be decent and have standards. I think what he did was appropriate to call the brother to order. For me, I wouldn't take that. I don't want to be in an environment where I will be addressed in such a manner. And this forum has to be sustained. You need talents, you need people, professional people to come in and contribute. So participants should be professional. You can express your ideas, take positions, make disagreements, short of indecency. And I think what he did was just right to make the statement. I don't think he meant it. He came back and apologized, Mohammed.
Okay, I will, I would like to proceed, and let that stay in the past.
So Comrade Sherry, the final question to conclude, the people want to bring the colors in, they are waiting.
Sure.
The whole issue of Joel Howard Taylor, the vice president in Bond County, telling the people about vote for your own, the Southeastern people did theirs. I want you to do yours. I mean, was she comparing a region of the country to a county?
I'm glad.
Two regions, and that's one thing. And I played a video from the beginning of the show. This Appeton guy having a press conference, and you could see that the plantain of banana leaf behind him were more than the people who showed at the press conference. And this guy came third in our election. I want you guys to conclude on that and for to bring our colors in 1 minute each, please.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up the Joel Howard Taylor's campaign message to the people of Bond County, and she repeatedly went back to something that the CPP did, a mistake that the CPP made when they nominated Charlene Bromsky as the vice standard bearer. Joel Howard Taylor said, to the people, that you need to vote for your own. She repeatedly went back to the point where she's saying the Pele vote, the Pele vote. And I'm sitting there saying, what is the Pele vote? What are you doing? Why don't you make a national appeal? Why don't you make a national appeal to the Grable people, the Crew people, whatever, right? Everybody needs to be part of your national appeal. This is not some little, club or organization that for that presidency you're running for some kind of organization. You're running for the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. The last time I checked, the Republic of Liberia is diverse, multiplicity of ethnicity. So you cannot go out there as a vice president and start to appeal to the sensibilities of one ethnic group. The Pele vote is like me going out there. I'm running for office, a national office, and I'm appealing for the Mandingo vote.
You lose.
Yes, you can appeal. You can appeal to your base, but you got to quickly move away from that base, build that base, solidify your base, and move quickly away from that base and begin to enlarge in that base. Something that the CPP did. CPP, when they went to nominate, Charlene Bromsky, and they were saying the Bassa vote. The Bassa vote. Bassa people, here's your own. And no other person than Louis Brown, who I thought knew better, who is a good strategist. And he's talking about the Bassa vote. The Bassa vote. The Bassa people have to vote for their own. Again, it's a reason why I'm appealing to Honorable Boakai to visit the Southeast and appeal to the people of Southeast. Tell them, I'm going to fix your roads. Your son is not doing it. I'm going to do it for you. Tell them. I'm going to bring back the things. I'm going to bring back the things that you've lost. He's not out here for you. Go to Grand Crew. Go to Maryland, go to Sino, go to Grand Judah, go everywhere that you can pick up a few thousand votes. Because you know what? At the end of the day, it may be a fraction of 1,000 that may decide this election. That's how close it is. I still do believe that Mr. Boakai has the momentum leading into this. But you know, me as someone who analyzes, I don't want to leave anything out there on the table. I'm not going to leave anything to chances, to say I'm going to just pick my chance. These people out here, regardless of what we do, we're not going to win Sino County. So I'm not going to go to Sino County. But guess what? You could pick up a couple of thousand votes from Sino County, thus depleting George Weah's big lead in that area.
Thank you, comrade. And you made a very good point. I want to share with our listeners here. Joseph Boakai, despite not going to the Southeast to campaign, he came second in all the 5 counties in the Southeast. Even in Maryland County, I'm looking at the numbers here, he came second. He beat Cummings by over 2,000 votes in Cummings' own county.
Right.
Imagine if he had gone there. Imagine if the Unity Party had gone there. Even the Grand Judah we're talking about, let me look at Grand Judah here. You know, he beat Cummings, he beat everybody besides Josh Weah. He beat everybody in Grand Judah County. He netted nearly 5,000 votes without even showing the face there.
And just to help with that,
I also want to bolster what Sheriff, you don't mind myself have the same mindset.
Yeah.
Our tribe, our ethnic, where we come from is something to be proud of, and it's something of a strength. But when we tend to lean on it, we're trying to make an argument, we're trying to convince somebody, then we use tribalism, then it becomes a weakness. And people favor that. They tend to go back there repeatedly. And that is what we're trying to graduate from. When will we respect Aliyu because of who Aliyu is in his mind, not with his ethnic background? That is what we aspire to. So, Mohammed, I just want to give you a hand there. That's what we need to be. That's the kind of people we need to be.
Exactly. Even in Grand Cru County, Weah is claiming Grand Cru to be his county. Boakai came second without even showing face. Imagine if he had gone there to talk to the people. But Ali was saying, "Oh, forget about that." I don't know.
Actually, Anthony, I have to say that during the night of the election, listening to the tally sheets, Boakai was around 30-35. Before all of that happened, when people are coming out and calling the tally sheets, it was around 30-35 to like that. But right now, it's around 10% all across. That's why it's easy to point to.
It was the percentages were low at the time, right? So the numbers will always change. So I'm not sure.
Anthony, real quick. I apologize. And you.
All right, be quick. We have to go to the callers.
I'll be real quick. Your next question was this Appleton effect. But if you went back to 1985, I know Brother Lassa will probably relate to this. There was a guy named William Gilbert from the Liberia Unification Party.
Yeah,
he was the dark horse in that race, and no one expected. By the way, when I came up, to LU, I met Mr. Pola, and I went to him. I spoke to him. He was a very down to earth guy. I met him twice. The first time I met him around his house, talked to him. The second time, now he was in trouble. He was in jail. So there are these dark horses that you're going to have. I don't know if this is the same thing with Appleton, but it has happened before. And people said that if that election was counted correctly, Mr. Pole would have probably come second, where Jackson of Doe was number 1, and William Gilbert Pole of the Liberia Unification Party should have been number 2.
Thank you. Good historical point there.
Yeah, but Anthony, there was a logical basis for that. Gabriel Pule hailed from the largest ethnic group in the country. He picked Howard Ngama, who was from the Bani group. They were cut across. And so, in fact, those is...
That was the main point.
Yeah, that was the basis. But with Appleton, I think he's a manufactured product that was produced. The exact outcome that we have.
Appleton comes from the 10th largest ethnic group in the country. He's a Gribble man. So what you got to say about that?
Just the Cummings.
Why not Cummings, who has a national name recognition compared to him? Let's leave it there. Let's go to the callers. Gentlemen, please bear with me. Let's take the callers. Let them participate here. Our first caller here is phone number ending in 4165, Washington. Your name and where you joining us from? I think I call your name. Where you joining us from? Washington, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, please speak a little louder. Go ahead.
Oh, my name is Elijah Washington. I'm calling from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, please don't listen to the monitor. You might have to turn it off and just listen to the phone, please. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Elijah Washington. I'm calling from Michigan. I listened to the panelists and I think the discussion has been frank and very reasonable to some sense. But I think for me, where we are in our country, we are in scary times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not optimistic about my country than I was probably 12 years ago. Because from my own perspective, nothing, even if, I don't think the two candidates we have in the race right now are doing the best candidate for our country. And I think nothing is going to change even back away. I think we're just going to return to where we were before George Weah became president. So it's just going to be a future factor. But when I listen to the panelists, especially those who support the Unity Party, the argument they make is sometimes I just think they're just polar and just weak. Because they say, oh, why can't the situation? There's no evidence. There's zero evidence that Boakai is going to change anything in that country. And I see that sometimes they contradict themselves, the people who support the Unity Party. Years ago, I supported Unity Party. I supported for Ellen Johnson Sterling because I thought she was the best candidate at the time. But now, when I look at Boakai as track record, there's zero evidence that he can become the first president for that country. But all the Unity Party people, all they should do is that, oh, he has to become the president. Yeah, great. He has to do the leadership. He doesn't have to become a president to know that he has the potential to become the president of the country. Sometimes ago, Joseph Boakai came to the United States. I think he had a conference and he spoke to a lot of people. Now, I listened to him keenly, and from there, I just knew this guy was not the best person for our country, and he's not going to change our country. Nothing is going to change because when I listen to him, all he does is that he takes credit for some of the things that some of the reforms that Ellen did, but then he did that himself. For some of the malpractices that were carried out in the early justice government, I think you should be able to stand for.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Indication now that he knows the problem and he's going to change everything. I think that's just a myth.
Thank you.
So that's why I'm so sad for our country because I think nothing is going to change if Boakai wins as our president for tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Flomo Livingstone, your turn. You have a minute.
All right. Thank you for putting me the time to call. Great show. You know, I have a few discussions. The endorsement for me, it depends the endorsement really have nothing to do with the voters. Because the voters, this year voting very well, it was surprising to me. Because if you see Sir Joseph in Monserrato, he accumulated more votes than George Weah in Monserrato. So even in Magibi, Nathalie Maggie accumulated more votes in Magibi than George Weah, and Joseph Boakai won that. So, endorsement to me is that some people just go there for money. So, now I think most of our politicians, there's no integrity. But most of them don't have no integrity. They are better driven to me because I think they just go there for money and for card like today. Edith Gongo, I thought they gave her a pickup truck. She's sitting there celebrating. People like Costa there, like Aaron Costa. They come, they just collect money. So there's no integrity. So next time when people like that come out, they want to criticize people don't even trust them anymore. So Jimmy, even when he said about when GMD win, your father will be Jeremiah Poole and Prince Johnson. Come on, man. When we come on a credible platform like this, focus on like, bro, man, that'd be factual, man. You don't have no evidence to say when JMB became president like Jeremiah Poole or Prince Johnson. We shouldn't be saying that on credible platform like this.
Prince Johnson said it himself.
Exactly so.
No, No, it doesn't matter if Prince Johnson said it. Prince Johnson will be president. If Jeremiah will be going from place to place, it's better for him to be president. After now, today, Joao is the current president, but I don't see any chatting according and giving instruction to Joao what to have to do this. No, we need to stop this.
Thank you.
In every fashion, every way. There's people in our country that every political party associated with who participated in the war. But when it comes to Prince Johnson, whosoever Prince Johnson support, you guys criticize. When you supported Weah in 2017, everything was good. There was no criticism. You're not going to take over the country. So when we come to this platform, let's be factual. Thank you for me the time.
Thank you so very much for your calling in. Mr. Calebo Gonglo, do you have any breaking news for us, sir? Because the Gonglos are endorsing. You are left. Go ahead.
Nobody else.
This is Calebo Gonglo. I just want to make a quick comment. My first comment is to clarify my dear friend Mohammed Sharia. He was being a little bit dishonest this evening, I should say.
Okay, thank God.
He may sound a little hard for him, but I should say that. He tried to misquote me here. So I will restate my statement. I said LPP endorsement of the Unity Party was an institutional endorsement. It does not represent a personal endorsement by Councillor Gonglo. Councillor Gonglo has not met any political party DHC, CDC, or Unity Party. The party LPP did not hold meeting with Unity Party, and Unity Party's official spokesman, Mo Ali, confirmed that on public radio that this was a strange endorsement. LPP did that debate, internal debate, and went through a democratic process and said in the runoff election, Unity Party represent our better choice. And they made that decision. The LPP is not an institution that go for negotiation for job data. They acted on principle, and that's what it did. So it doesn't represent a personal endorsement, okay? And it's clear on that. So,
can I ask Calebo?
I think it's even strange to think that you.
Let him finish.
Let's let him finish. Go ahead, Calebo.
I thought he was finished.
I want to raise here. I listened to Dr. Golofale. He was talking about honesty of Boakai being honest. I think honesty, if you define, maybe you define that in a narrow sense, but you define it broadly. I think Boakai is not an honest person. He's not been honest about himself to the public. He's making Liberians to know that we are buying people in the dead. Boakai health issue has drawn him in the campaign, and he's not been honest about that. And he keeps making frequent trips to Ghana. He's not coming and telling the public why he's going to Ghana. And there is allegation that he's going to Ghana it's where he gets steroid injection to get the energy. I think there's on the campaign trail now he's in Ghana today. So he needs to be clear on that. There's one Accra. He and Mr. Cummings met there. Cummings people allege that Boakai requested for $15 million as a condition of the race. Boakai is yet to address the public on this. That's not honesty, Dr. Golofale. I was also said doing this. In 2015, Anthony Kessler was the
$15 million? $15 million?
Okay.
Kind of sounds like Costa.
Okay. So Cummings people accused Boakai of requesting that money from Ellis Cummings. Okay. He has not addressed that. In 2015, at the Lutheran Church in Upper Darby, in Delaware County, next near Philadelphia, when the post-Ebola conference at the UN, Boakai was here to meet the Liberian community. And the Washington Post, New York Times journalists asked me this question. I was present. Ellen Dennis was present. Anthony Kennedy was present. Jeffrey Hammer was there. I can name people, prominent people in the Philadelphia community who remember this. This question was asked Boakai that your government is corrupt and the Ebola funds were mismanaged. And Boakai's response was, corruption is everywhere. He defended corruption. For people to say he's honest, he's not honest.
But I thought that was honesty to admit everywhere.
Hello?
I thought that was honesty to admit that, yes, that the corruption is everywhere, so it had to be in Liberia also, right?
Oh, no, so if you say corruption is everywhere, the people cannot also say this guy here is going to fight corruption.
No, I don't think they are the same.
Well, that's the reason why that person should fight corruption, because it's everywhere.
You have to recognize the problem. First,
Senator should have been on the show.
Yeah.
Why he check out?
I'm not concerned about what
He checked out for some reason.
So he didn't want to endorse today.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to endorse today. That's why.
Right.
Mr. Gonglo, please conclude, sir.
I'm going to make an endorsement on
We already know where we're gonna endorse.
Right, we already know. So see, take care.
Each and every citizen of Liberia.
Please don't talk over our caller. Let him land, please.
No, but let me end it. What that represents is state capture. All of the corruption, the corrupt and bad people have captured Blogger as a legal to run or fight to power. And that's the danger.
Thank you.
Great
All
point there,
right,
Mr. Gonglo.
Take my last caller here, gentlemen. Let me take my last caller here. And another person join in. Let's go to this caller. Harris Smo. You have a minute, please. Quickly.
Yes, hello.
Yes, you are live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to contribute on the topic. I listened to one of your panelists on the show defending Vice President Joseph Boakai. He said that Joseph Boakai is not corrupt. But let me make him to understand that if you go on Google right now and you do a Google search concerning the PL480, there's an audit report there that claims that former President Joseph Boakai squandered or invested $1 million. He diverted that money to his office for personal gain. So that in itself, the corruption. Joseph Boakai endorses corruption. Matter of fact, when Robert Salih, Ben Rock, Loka, he did not say anything to that effect. When you look at the way they mortgaged the APM Terminal 2 investment contract, he did not say anything. Joseph Boakai is not in the interest of the Liberian people. When you look around him today, he brought a whole lot of people around him that want to squander all of the resources of our country. He even got position and he started to mortgage with the DC Mountain. So he is very desperate. Like, we're very careful on our worker.
Thank you. Let me take my final caller here. That will be Thomas. Thomas, you are live. You have a minute, sir.
I thought he just spoke. Wasn't that Thomas?
No, that's not Thomas. Oh, I muted. Thomas is muted. Thomas, sorry, you were on mute. Go ahead, Thomas.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good show. I was on the show last night when Mr. Terrible Gonglo called, and the clarification he's making is just going back to actually restate what he said. If you say the decision was an institutional decision, my brother, this is not an individual decision, you are already undermining the standing of your brother as an institutional person.
Correct.
If the institution takes a decision and your brother is out of the institution, there was no need to come and clarify.
Thank you.
Create this impression that he did not agree with the position that was made by the institution. So I think coming back to clarify is just further undermining his brother. And like what I said yesterday on the show, I really do admire their families, highly educated people. If your brother has taken a decision, you go ahead and take your own decision. Forget about what he has done as an independent person. And there's one thing that he keeps doing that is really undermining. I don't want to be personal, but for a statistician who is always speaking and does not regard facts, always, I'm going to say this about GNC. They went to Ghana and they said we're going to offer him 15 million.
He said 15 million. Really?
Therefore, it is true.
The rumors were 6 million.
You are always just basing your statement
on they say and rumors.
On rumors. And you are taking statistics in the best country in the whole world. I'm glad that the elections are going to be on November 14th. This will be done and everybody will move ahead with their life, but he's still undermining himself. And the last caller that just made a point that PL4. How can Joseph Boakai be indicated for $1 million? for 6 years, CDC will not take that report and run around with it. For 1%. And you still think that that's a report that is going to help you? Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. That was Thomas, our last caller for the day. Gentlemen, time is fast spent. We will get your closing argument here, each of you, to close this debate. Aliu, you're looking hungry. Close.
Yes, sir. Again, I cannot emphasize how much I'm sorry for my outbursts. I hope you forgive me for that. I'm too old to be getting angry around here, you know. But listen, a lot of great points were made. A lot of great points were made. You know, Kerebu is a complete, like he really never disappoints. I never heard Kerebu speak like someone who actually went to school to do math, actual math. You know, math.
You see, disrespected the man again, Mr. Kamara.
And you see, he not jump inside again and stop me halfway.
Go ahead.
Okay, not like someone who really did math. I don't know how that can be insulting. But anyway, you know, when you just come up with statements as someone who is a math major, you must be evidence oriented. It's like back in school when you work quadratic equation, you can't just work and go to the teacher and get an answer. No, you got to prove your answer. And you got to get a teacher the rough. You got to get the teacher the rough sheet and the complete sheet. Both. How you got to the answer? He wants to know. So you have to speak based on the fact, and not just what you call it. But some salient point was made. In as much me and Mr. Eastman we usually disagree, but the issue of tribalism can be an epidemic. It can be good and it can be an epidemic. And the way to fix it is not to beat it out of people. Ethnicity is real. It's natural. It's not something you can whip out of people. The way to do it, you try like what Robert Mugabe did in Zimbabwe. What Robert Mugabe did in Zimbabwe was he educated more than 90% of the citizenry of Zimbabwe.
99.
If he left nothing in Zimbabwe, more than 90% of Zimbabweans are literate.
99.
Okay, 99. So you can round it up to 100, no problem. You understand? So more than enough of the country is educated. So their decisions are going to be made differently, even though they have more languages in Zimbabwe than Liberia. You understand what I'm saying? So these things are part of our existence. They're part of us. The way to do it is to use education. Like Ghana, for example, what did they do? They formed a unified language called Twi. Every tribe in Ghana, whether they speak English or not, will speak Twi.
Not everyone.
What?
The Ewe people don't speak Twi. The other people from the other side on the north don't speak Twi. I live in Ghana for 3-4 years.
Yeah, but the people from the north, that Burkina Faso people, that people close to Burkina Faso, I know the group.
Okay, go ahead.
Around Togo, right? Around Togo.
The Ewe people around Togo.
Right.
Yeah, gentlemen. The people you talk about in the north, my former woman from the north, so I know the people. I understand what you're saying.
Make your point.
When I speak, I'm speaking on the aggregate, you know. So Ghana, you go to Ghana, when you enter the airport in Ghana, you hear everything you hear there is Twi. It doesn't matter what tribe is this person or what tribe is that person.
I agree.
Everybody speaks Twi at that airport. You understand what I'm saying? So those are things you can formulate, not to take rotten or not to beat somebody down in conversation. Ethnicity is a serious matter, very serious matter. It's embedded in people. They were born with it. They were raised in it. You can't highlight them to get it away from them. But it's been a great time. It's been a very great show. Look, Sherry, Joseph Boakai, in his first term, in the first 100 days, you will be able to go to your village in Grand G that they play now, you call River G. You'll be able to go there, walk around, drive there, and drive back. You'll be able to do that under Joe Boakai government the first 100 days. Within the first 100 days, you'll be able to walk 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the night in congested areas like Bonneville Junction, like New Georgia Junction, like Freeport, like what we used to do back then when we were boys in the 90s, what we used to walk from Cinco to Holiday Impop, go to nightclub, come home 4 o'clock in the morning, nobody stops us on the road. We will go back to those days. It can happen. We've been there, we've done it before, and we can do it again. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Comrade James Lassa.
Yeah, thank you, Ansoni. I just want to start by referencing the claims being made that JMB doesn't have credible people around him. That could not be further from the truth. If you look at the opposition camp, the Weah camp, you find nobody but persons like Tua, Union Nangwe, Musa Ability, and Bezon Gafine, some people call Passport Guy, and all kinds of things. On the other hand, if you look at GMB's camp, you see men of credibility. Oh my God. I believe the future of Liberia is great because you have men.
For example, need some.
That's what I'm saying, because you have men who are still alive today.
Yeah, give me some names. You get names on
well,
the
you have to let me men who are alive today, like Kofi Woods, like Alaric Tukpa, like Augustin Ngafua. You say he are not endorsed JMB. I'm not quite sure you are accurate on that.
He is part of the JMB.
Yeah. I saw a public piece of people supporting GMB and giving advice on how to win.
That's why they're running.
Yeah. People like Ngafua, former finance minister and foreign minister, former finance minister Boima Kamara and John Mulu. The kind of pedigree of professionals that you have there who are well known as icons of integrity are the ones you find again around Boakai. I don't know who in his right mind can make
Prince
such
Johnson Akun, a paragram of integrity.
I don't know. Well, that's another thing. Talking about political alignment, different from people that you find around him that will influence him. Okay, these are people who have influence.
And you think Prince Johnson Akun were not influencing?
Not as much as those I'm talking about. Yeah,
how you know that?
You don't know Joseph Boakai answer.
Correct. Well, he has record for that. You know, JMB has stood to people like Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He opposed her. He expelled her from that party. He stood to Costa. He stood to Ure. Tell me if he can stand up to Kun or Prince Johnson, then maybe that is your wish. I don't have control of that. I'm just trying to say it is not fair for anyone to see that. GMB has the best pedigree of professionals and icons of integrity who are around him as compared to any other team in that place there. That's one. And number two, you're talking about CDC had 25 elected persons and GMB. GMB is in an alliance with other people where he didn't put up candidates, like PYJ, he didn't put up candidates, like other, all around. There are people who won there who don't care.
Made that point. CDC too.
So I think it's only fair to say that the opposition candidates won the majority and CDC had only 20. That is the best way to put it than to put it in a narrow way. Now, concerning the endorsement, I think my friend and brother Kelebo didn't do right. His brother is a very well-known icon of integrity and a man who speaks his mind. He attended a program in which he was declared as a former standard bearer. And the statement was read where he was, in all indication, giving his support. And then he come and say he got personal. That's not right. And then you find all of those endorsing the Weah camp. Notice this one thing. None of them is brave to point to any good thing that Weah has done in the 6 years for which they think their followers should support him. Watch him. Besonga did it in a somewhere that you can't even see anything. He did when she couldn't point to anything. She only said he will be challenged to improve because there's nothing to say. If they cannot say anything good in the public about him, imagine what they will say in the corner when they go back and meet their people. The endorsements are nothing short of basic symbolic posturing, photo ops, and just that is nothing more. The optics after that is vain. Nothing is there. So JMB is bound for victory, as my brother Mohammed said. Let him send some poor watchers in there to go in stuff. Even if he cannot go, I think he should go, probably to show respect and other things. But that is my commentary about that. But look, Joel Howard is a demagogue. We are not going to allow any tribal demagogue. You may overlook it now, but again, it can grow over time and be surprised at the danger of what it poses to the society. That's a danger she owns. She's hungry. A failed first lady, failed senator, failed vice president who does not come from Bond County because I'm a citizen of Bond County, because she all of the positions she's held, she has failed and refused to build even a single home in Bond County, and she's from Lofa and she has nothing there, and then she's coming to say Pelapo, she
Wait a minute. Well, we're just talking about Kelapu.
You see, the tribal, you're showing your tribal bigotry. You're showing your tribal bigotry. She's a Loma and Pella Womo.
The evidence is that she does not have a home there. I don't see how you come from Bond County, be first lady for all these years, be senator for all these years, and vice president. You hit the idea of
But I heard you say she's from Lofa. I hope you take that back. She's also from Bunk County.
I'm making a political statement, Ali. You can row with it as you want. I mean what I say. I have evidence. No one can tell you that Joel has constructed a single home in Bond County.
But that doesn't negate the fact that
these are the respectful people on the platform.
You see?
No,
and
no,
you see,
no,
Aliyu,
no,
there's nothing discussing about what is he talking about?
Aliyu, you see,
this is close.
Lassa is a very educated man. He's a very educated man.
It's giving his closing. The debate is over.
Yes, no, let's go ahead. Sorry, brother.
It's unfair for Evans to want to equate me to him. I'm not using any invective.
Yeah, the way Evans uses words, and I'm my fault. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
So I'm making a political statement. I just think it is unimaginable and unacceptable for someone who will come to mislead my people into a dirty political game of tribal bigotry and demagoguing the other people, who will claim to represent the Pela people, although she has not even been able to build a single house in Bond County. That is a statement that is drawn and built on a huge premise. I'm not insulting anybody.
James Lassa, I agree with you.
Anthony, thank you for the time.
Thank you, James Lassa, for always availing yourself whenever we reach out to you, even at the 11th hour. I agree with you. Joel Howard Taylor is a political cheat. She has no love for the people of Bond County. Right. She has not been able to show it.
No love for the whole country, not just Bond County.
Thank you. But she was speaking about Bond County, and that's what I'm saying, that I know her history. The woman is all about herself, and she doesn't care about anybody.
And I'm from Bond County. I can't keep quiet.
The political working is what it puts in her pocket. That's all she cares about. She's a disgrace to national leadership. To be
whoa. Take time. You're talking about our VP now. No.
I'm talking about country.
Yeah, so my good friend Kelepo, I gotta go back to him. You know, he said the endorsement, I repeat this, he said the endorsement was institutional. The same institution nominated him as a standard bearer. So if the institution endorsed Mr. Boakai, this should be, I will hope that this is also an endorsement from, Mr. Gonglo, Mr. Tiawan Gonglo.
But he was sitting right there.
He was right there, sitting there. So, Anthony, the way I see endorsement. So if you endorse somebody, I think that if that person asks you, they do it here in the United States, you go out and campaign for them. You talk to your people, because you, at the end of the day, you want that person elected. But what Kelepo is doing right now, he's trying to detach his brother from this. Someone just said it. I don't know if it was Dr. Golafale, someone said it.
No, Thomas said that.
Thomas said that. Okay. So if you just forget about Tiawan now, what he has done, just do your own. So it seems like he cannot detach himself. He's just trying to make sure that, my brother wasn't part of this, so that 4 years from now, 5 years from now, because I think he's going to run again, my brother didn't endorse Boakai. You see, he was sitting there, he didn't say anything, but that is bad politics. You don't do that. Okay, and Kelepo knows that we know better than that. I know better than that.
And someone might be thinking that his brother sent him to do this.
No, nobody in that
someone might believe that his brother is aware of what he's doing.
Probably.
Yeah, I will not do that to my brother.
Right, because this is not good. It's not good.
Fortunately, we know his brother very well. We know the kind of man he is.
It's not good. It's not good what he's doing to his brother. I don't know if his brother sent him, but I probably. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if the Liberian People's Party endorsed Mr. Boakai, that is also an endorsement. That should be an endorsement from Mr. Tiawangangla, and not for Kelepo to go on all these shows and say, well, that was just institutional. It's a funny way that we do something. The political bureau said this, but the stand-up bearer was not with it. I don't want to hear this 4 years from now, okay? This is the same thing that other people try to do, so it's not fair. That's what I want to say about that. But look, going forward with all of these endorsements, there are other endorsements to come. And so, in certain, in some other political parties, they're not going with their leaders, but, so there are discussions in some other political parties whose memberships, are saying one thing and the leaders are saying one thing. So there's all kinds of things that's going to happen now between now and the runoff. So, there's going to be more drama.
Thank you, comrade. Mr. Morris, you're closing.
Thank you, Mr. C. Let me just say this: Joseph Boakai is a dishonest man. Joseph Boakai is a serial squanderer of opportunities and resources. I will point to 2 occasions. Joseph Boakai said when he came back from the United States, that meeting that he had, he was going to fix the CPP. What he actually meant is he was going to disintegrate the CPP. He filed the documents to remove the United Party from the CPP shortly after he got back. Dishonesty. Joseph Boakai said he would look for a VP who reflects his values. What do we think when we think about Joseph Boakai? The notion that has been spilled out there that he's a man of integrity. Pick Jeremiah Kuhn, a serial embezzler from the Ways and Means Committee, committee in the Senate. A man who has known to dabble in corruption. Even his own political godfather, Prince Johnson, said he was too greedy for power. And then a man who is closely associated with Prince Johnson's party, and he goes into negotiation with Prince Johnson to negotiate for his godson to be his VP, is honest. Joseph Boakai, in the 12 years that he worked in government, made $3 million in base salary without allocations for benefits like his gas and other things. $3 million. Comes to the country a few years after he left government and said he's living on loans. He squandered opportunities for his family to build generational wealth. He squandered those opportunities. Edith Gonglo Weah endorsement of George Weah perhaps would be the most consequential of any other endorsement, even more so than her brother Amy Cummings, because in Nimba County, a vote-rich county, as we all know, she came second, and very close second, to Prince Johnson, to Jeremiah Cohn. She's very well loved in that county, and she's very competitive, more so than her brother could ever be when it comes to the politics of Nimba, especially in the Ganta area. She's very well respected, and she's very influential in Nimba politics. So nobody should underestimate her. She's more politically savvy than her brother Tawan Gongo, who was one of his first time running for political office. So let's not dismiss her. She's very well liked. The Vice President, Joa Howard Taylor, is an astute lawyer. She's an astute and masterful politician. When people say she's not from Boakai, you just calling the people from Boakai, sorry to use the word, but you're calling them stupid because they voted for her overwhelmingly, I think 2 or 3 times to be a senator. And they overwhelmingly supported her to be vice president, the first of its kind from Boakai. The people of Nimba have had 2 vice presidents, Ina Dokliye and Moses Black. So the people of Boakai have been deprived. And right now, this woman is saying, we have the vice presidency, and we should continue to vote because you are the largest voting population in this country for me to retain my seat and show the people of Liberia that the Pele people are represented in this government, which they are. So nobody should come in and try to undermine these ladies. They are political giants in their own words, and they should be respected. And lastly, before I close, I will say sorry to the fellow panelists. My words was misguided. I could have chosen my words better. It was not intended to offend. But sometimes when you guys are poking at our president, it gets on some of our nerves, and we might try to respond in time. But great discussion and much respect to the fellow panelists. I mean no disrespect with my earlier comments. I'll leave it there.
One minute, President. You heard all the
No,
things
no,
you
no.
called
Don't
Joseph.
get at me. Don't be. Don't give us a camera. Don't
You
be.
heard
I
all
feel
the
about.
things
I feel
you heard
about.
all the things you called Joseph Boakai. No. You heard
No,
all the
no,
things you
no,
called Joseph
no. I
Boakai. You heard
said it
anybody
because you
talk?
guys say he's a public figure. Now why hit him in the ribs where it hurt. That hit him in the
Did
ribs
you hear anybody
because you say he's
talk
a
when you were
public figure.
describing Joseph Boakai? Did you hear anybody talk?
Thank you.
No.
No, you say I can do it because President Weah is a public figure. You can curse him. So now why I went to Joseph
Father, your
Boakai, hit him
closing.
in the ribs.
Comrade, Father, your closing, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. And before I say what was on my mind to close, let me correct my brother Elvis that Vice President Jewel Howard Taylor is no astute lawyer. She has never practiced law anywhere. To be astute, you have to be sharp and have an advantage in your field. She only has a degree that does not constitute being astute. That's one. Another thing is
That degree is even being questioned. So
that's another thing to talk about. Another thing to talk. I think a lot of you, a lot of the anti-Boakai people do not understand that one of the principles of honesty and integrity is to be truthful or to be honest to a fault. And I think Ambassador Boakai fed you guys with the word squanderer. That was his way of being honest to the Liberian people that we squandered opportunities. And that is being honest to a fault. So I don't know why you people are taking this whole thing out of context to politicize it. It's because there's a lack of understanding of people being honest in Liberia. George Weah and all of his cabinet lie day after day. Just recently at the Senate, the deputy minister lied that they have disbursed 50% of county development fund. And someone who is an accountant, he goes to the Senate without providing document. Yes, that's incompetence. That's what you should be talking about. That's dishonesty. You don't attribute that to Joe Boakai. I have worked with Ambassador Boakai before in the era of higher education. You remember when Ellen Johnson went to Atlanta, Georgia in 2006 and gave the commencement address to Spelman College? She asked for support in higher education. A couple of years after, Joe Boakai led a delegation to Atlanta and had a Liberia Business and Education Summit. He invited people to Liberia that same year. I spoke at the Liberia Business and Education Summit in 2012. I never knew someone walked out of, after I spoke, a university president walked to me and shook my hand. That's how I got scholarship to come to the US. Not through Joe Boakai directly, but his leadership. After that, how many people have been to the US to come and get quality education? A lot of our colleagues. We institutionalized the whole thing. We made it as a way to continue what Ellie and Joe Boakai started. The number of people we've given scholarship, the number of people that have gone to top US universities, going back to Liberia to contribute, there are so many. So I've worked with him. I brought him to Georgia Tech. I invited him through my organization. We brought him to Georgia Tech. We raised money. He donated money. He supported us, gave us the opportunity for more Liberians to come and get education. I've worked with him. I know him. I know his level of honesty. That's why I speak, and that's why I support him. On the issue I listened to my brother Elvis talking about Jose Boakai promised to fix CPP. I don't know why CDC people are concerned about CPP being organized. I don't know what you're concerned about. Are you interested in CPP? Be concerned about what is happening in your party, where George Weah does not speak to his party leader, what his name, Moba Malu. And the thing that this whole show, I never heard anything that Elvis spoke about that George Weah has done, any tangible, and what George Weah will do in the next 6 years. I have been waiting for that. Nothing of such, because there's nothing to say. The whole campaign trail, George Weah does not tell you anything that he's going to do differently. He just boasts of things that are not tangible, you know. And another thing is, how you call it? I wanted to end on is the issue of Vice President Jewel Howard Taylor again. When she spoke in Bone County, I know a lot of you had talked about that. It was like a shot in their leg. Because if you talk about people should vote where because she's from Bone County, let's use her logic and say let Nima vote for their own. Let Lofa vote for their own. Let's see what's going to happen because I strongly believe the election is going to be decided in Lofa and Nima. And that's where Joe Barker is going to win. But just to close up, gentlemen, this has been a very interesting conversation. I haven't heard any sedition telling us what they've done differently in the last 6 years, different from UP. I mean, differently in the sense of productivity. They haven't done that. And what they're going to do in the next 6 years to address the bread and butter issues, to scoop our people out of poverty, to bring back the health sector. The health sector that when you go back to 2007, where the Unity Party led by Ellen Johnson and Joe Boakai, they came up with the Liberia Health and Policy to reform the health and policy system in Liberia. Today, you can't even find drugs in some of the hospitals. There are reports about that. But our friend and brother sit here because he knows the reality. That's why he ignored talking about any successes of Weah and what Weah is going to do differently. He only sits and attacks Joe Boakai because Joe Boakai is the man that is poised to lead this country and rescue it from the gang of criminals. I call them a gang of criminals, and I won't mince my words on that. There are evidence of that. And I will close up to say, let the Liberian people go out and vote. Don't be carried away by the huge endorsements. There's a difference between individual endorsement and what the Liberian people are going to do. Your individual endorsement is one vote. Yes, you may be influential, but the people want to follow the candidate who has the history and record of solving bread and butter issues. George Weah has no history. He failed in the very football that he's an expert in. Joe Barker, as an agriculturalist, has success record in the agriculture sector. Joe Boakai will rescue Liberia. And the evidence are there from his track record, his integrity, his level of being honest to the Liberian people. And that honesty is what all of the dishonest people don't like to hear. That's why they call him squanderer. Yes, we squander opportunities, and it will be fair and frank that the opportunities were squandered during the 12 years, and we want to come and fix it. And George Weah, that's why you want to hear. That's why, yeah, that's honesty.
Because it's the truth. That's all.
It's the truth. It's the reality. It's the truth. Myself, I have strong issues with them, and that's why you people hate to hear. That's what's going to build our country. We have to be honest with each other. Where the truth belongs, put it there. We can't hide it because we want to be politically correct. But at the end of the day, let the Liberian voters go and decide on their own and vote Joe Boakai so we can rescue this country and put it back on track. And the tracking vectors bring jobs, revive our health sector, our education sector, and all other sectors that need to be revived to make our country renew, bring it back from a failed state that it is in right now. Thank you very much, panelists. Thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful discussion.
Thank you.
You lost in the first round, you're losing the second round again. Thank you.
Jimmy, you're close.
Wow. So as we can tell from our discussion that this election is not over. We are going to see a lot of things before elections. The big guns are taking positions now. They are siding with their favorites, and we're going to see a lot of things in the next few weeks. Our people can be convinced in different ways, and so sometimes they want what they hear for some reason it influences them. So even though we hear about these endorsements, but the people who talk to them over the radio waves and who talk to them, they might have a very deep and convincing argument for these people. So the next few days, we are about to see some real drama, just like Elvis talked about. And I like what Lassa was saying, and Lassa emphasizes my point. We are a beautiful people with diverse ethnicity, and that is our strength. And that is good. That is what we want. We don't want all the people to be the same. We want people to be different because it helps us bring together different ideas and different vibes that take us to other levels. But what we need to be afraid of is the two faux pas. One of them is when we discriminate against other people. We don't treat them fairly. That is when it goes in astray. And the other one, we can't allow it to use us. Somebody call, hey, come on, you, boom. Then we jump under their wing. No, what are you doing?
What did you say? What language did you just speak?
Forget about it. If you understand it, then you need to understand it. If you don't understand it, then just leave it. Okay? You don't want it to just call you like that, and then you jump. Joe, last time I was saying, no, not because you say that, and then I would just no. So we have to use our discretion, and that is the most important part. But our plurality is a strength, and we shouldn't ever let it get between us. And that's all I got for this week.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thanks, everyone. A very big thank you to our followers, those who shared and who follow and caught in. Thank you for following Focus on Liberia always and always. We claim to be the best, and we'll keep it that way for being the best.
We are the best.
It's the best things to do. And if you are looking for the best, come here. We are not perfect, but we are the best. We want the best for Liberia, and that's why we always bring the best together to discuss in the very best way to move our country forward. This is how we'll come to the end of Friday night's debate with the song that says, we are all Liberians. Indeed, we all are, no matter who you support, we are all Liberians. And Dennis will say, let us bring back the glory of Liberia, to paraphrase Dennis there. The song, we are all Liberians, closes the broadcast. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Mr. Eastman, Mr. Kamara, see you Sunday.
Liberia is our home. Liberia people. Liberia.